Okay, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. And we're talking about the requirements on my property. You're coming to my property, and what kind of requirements would I have that I, I believe everybody that's going to come on my property, if you're going to be staying here, you're going to have certain requirements you're going to have to fulfill if you're expecting to be on my property. And we talked about the shelter, the water, and the food. Okay, now that's basic for anybody coming onto my property. The reason is if you don't have that much, you are a liability to me and my family and the others that are on my property, if there is any others. Okay, so now the thing's going to be you will have to take care of your own security. Uh, and that we would have to sit down and explain because it depends on where my property is. Is there other landowners around me? Here, we don't have that problem, but in some places, you know, I got 5 acres. Well, next to me is 5 acres. They got their property, so uh, they're going to have their own rules and how they're going to do it. But like I say, you need to take care of your own security, and it uh, yeah. Okay, so now not only that, you're not here as a freeloader. I mean now you're turning into a liability. So there's going to be some chores that are going to be needed to be you're going to have to perform while you're here. Also, like I say, like here you can see we got a garden. We're working on a garden, so this is what some of my chores are: gardening, and I'll be cutting the grass. Uh, so I've got things that I've got to do that makes me an asset to the landowner. So this needs to be figured out when these people come in or before they come in. And now they understand they do have certain requirements that they're going to have to perform while they're here. Now, if they're incapable of doing this stuff, they become a liability. We don't want a liability. Not on my place. That's the last thing I need is a liability. You have to make yourself an asset. So this is where skills come in. What kind of skills does this person have? And are these skills that I can find valuable for my property? That's something you need to consider. Their skill sets and their attitude. Make sure they have the proper attitude, uh, and make sure that they understand they are a guest. And as a guest, they can be asked to leave. Now, when you ask someone to leave, uh, you just don't ask them to leave. You have to give them reason because they're learning. They're in a new habit. They're trying to learn new skills and life practices, I guess you might say. So so then you need to, whenever they're doing something that's not that that you don't find adequate for your property, you need to explain to them, and then so they understand what they need to do to correct it. If the corrections are too tough on them, well then now this is their chance to say, they can work out a deal. Well, I can't do that, but how about if I do this and do that? I mean, so there's some negotiating going on. So that's why you got to make sure they have the right attitude, so they know that they will be expected to do something when they're here. Now, now that by itself should be enough to allow this household to come in. Now, now, if it looks like it's going to be timely, or you're going to be putting them on a spot, like say they have an RV, and then you'll say, well, I'll tell you what, I got a place for you, and you can put your RV over there. You're going to have to run electricity over there to it, and it'll be at their expense. It's not going to be my expense as the landowner. It won't be. That becomes a liability. We don't want to become a liability. So then now what you're going to be doing is letting them know that any improvements, they're going to be at their expense. Now they're going to have to haul their black water and gray water. Do you have a place for them to do it? Normally out in the country, they do have a septic tank. Let's see right here. I don't know if you can see them. There's some orange flags over there. And that's where our septic tank is. And so now they got a place to dump their stuff. And I say we got water. There's the water right over there. So, and that's why I'm saying I'm set up over here. So I am not a liability. I am self-contained. I'm able to take care of it, and they offering me a place to dump and a place for water, electricity. Now I'm just running on an extension cord. You see the extension cord. So because I don't really use much electric, it's not that big of a thing. I can pretty much set up most any place, but I am kind of trying to set up more permanent. But I say I've got the truck camper over there, but I'm looking for a regular pull-along camper. And if I had a pull-along camper, you can see the old truck. Where is that? Over there's an old truck over there. They got parked over there. See, I could park up there. I just need to figure out a way to run electric over there to it. So, and but that's what I'm saying. There's a way to make this stuff work, but it's going to be at my expense. And as I'm the one moving in, and as the landowner, I will tell you where you're going to be setting up at. And because you have to have it figured out why you want them set up in that particular area. And you don't really want them all that close to your place, but then maybe you do, depending on your layout and what the situation is. If they're going to be running a generator, you're going to have to understand the rules on when to run the generator and this type of stuff. So there's things you need to work out on this stuff. And but I say it's kind of like a what do you call it? A ranch hand. That's what you're doing, but you're bringing your own housing with you. And so these are things that you need to consider when you are allowing others to come in on your place. And I'll make another video talking more about some of the things to think about. Just Mike, nostressmike.com.